Well, I'm hoping that this is going to work. This is Tom Lesher with New Paradigm Astrology. This is the Pele Report, which is a weekly astrological forecast. I hope you can see the sacred mountain of Uluru in the background. It's a very large rock. I walked around it this morning. I'm in the outback of Australia, and I don't know when I'll be able to post this report, but today, Wednesday here in Australia, Tuesday in America, and I'd like to talk to you about some aspects that are coming up that are happening now and just kind of tune into the celestial vibrations that are occurring for this week. Tomorrow, the moon moves into the sign of Scorpio. Actually, on Thursday, it's in Libra now. We're right now having a moon, Venus, Saturn, Sun coming up to approaching this conjunction with Saturn. Yes? So it's a very powerful time, and I'll talk more about what that means. On Monday, we have, and through this whole week, Mars is moving through the sign of Leo, and it's squaring Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And then later on this weekend, the moon moves into Sagittarius on Saturday, and then again into Capricorn on Monday for the first quarter moon, happening on Tuesday here in Australia, Monday in the States. Those being the aspects, I would just like to really focus on what I've been feeling here in Uluru. This is sacred land. It's a very sacred place to the Aboriginal people, and they are very connected to the land. And this Jupiter in Taurus is a very powerful time for me being here and connecting with the sacredness of the land, and it makes me consider what is sacred and what is profane. And the sense is that that which is sacred is a conscious awareness of being connected and interdependent with all the rest of creation. And that profane is when we are disconnected and separate from and not realizing we're in the dark when it comes to our connection and our association with the cosmos, with other people, with the land, with our past, and with the future generations to come. This is a very, very powerful place where the Aboriginal people carry a lot of grief. They carry a lot of sorrow because a lot of people have come into their land and they don't know the stories and they don't know the history and they're not connected to anything here. And they just have barged in and taken over and created things without an awareness of what has been and what is very sacred. And this is so opportune for Mars in Leo coming into a square with Jupiter. Mars connected with Jupiter in the last days of April, and it's now coming forward. And, the Sun has been going from Aries all around to Libra, the first 6 signs of the zodiac for the last 6 months. The Sun has been moving through those first 6 signs have to do with subjective personal development. And since the equinox, where the Sun entered the sign of Libra just last week, we now have 6 months of socialization process where we connect, where we bring what we have gathered together within ourselves and we share it for the next 6 months with the rest of society, the world at large, and, our galactic friends and neighbors also. But it's time now for the next 6 months to be putting ourselves out. And I would like to just, take this time to, I've been learning about the initiation rites, that the people here did for, the rites of passage to be brought into manhood and adulthood in the tribal fashion. And, they're painful, but they're all about the individual receiving a vision and maturing and taking a role within the tribe, within the greater social order. So the danger I see of this Mars square Jupiter is that we can separate. We can go our own way. We can make it about us, our money, our possessions, our future, maybe our family. But the true point of initiation, and we can particularly see this when the moon moves into Capricorn, the sign of the elder, and squares Uranus and the sun and other planetary bodies, that this is a time where we everything that we know, everything that we learn, everything that we discover is not for us alone. And that what we bring to our relationships, and the more that we open ourselves in relationship, not only to individual people and our love partners, but into the world and into nature and connecting with the land and the greater cycles of existence, the dance of the planets and the dance of the cosmos. This is the measure of what we give. This is the measure of our gift to the world. And so the danger here is of greed, of self-centeredness, the downside of Taurus. I've got to survive, and I separate, and I gather all of my own things together. Whereas the greater reality that can exist as we move into this age of Aquarius is unity within diversity. So as this Mars goes into Leo and we want to dance and we want to create and we want to make new things and we want to share our love with each other, I encourage us to really do that in a holistic fashion. And of course, now as the moon moves into Scorpio for the weekend, we can consider sacred sexuality versus profane sexuality. The profane sexuality would be where it's just a physical release, a physical experience, second chakra, and sacred sexuality, sacred union, would be opening our heart chakra, opening our crown chakra, opening all 7, 8, some say 13 chakras that we have, and totally merging and uniting with another. After that weekend, the moon moves into Sagittarius, and it's time to expand out of just personal relationship and go out in nature. Those of you who live in the city can have a more challenging time, but really just look at the starry skies, look at the clouds, look at the ocean. Go out in nature while that moon is in Sagittarius and have a vision. And bring it back next week when that moon moves into Capricorn. And you can go back to your business and go back to your responsibilities and all of your duties refreshed and renewed, and knowing that you are contributing, and through that contribution, you are strengthening, fortifying, uniting this whole interdependent creation that we are all a part of. So this is a really beautiful time of year of coming together. And the more that we receive and imagine and feel within ourselves, the more we are enabled to create a future together that is divine, divinely inspired. Oh yeah, the the mantra for the week. Actually, the mantra for the week that I came up with as I was walking around Uluru Rock today was, I'm not afraid to love. And if we think of this, there are two things, love and fear. And that fear is perhaps that I lose myself, I lose my money, I lose my possessions, I lose my future, I lose my identity. And yet love requires love requires a certain release of our egocentricity. So if we repeat that mantra that I am not afraid to love, we build a container, and that container is big enough to hold all of creation. So I'll leave you with that mantra. I wish that you have a good week. I'll upload this as soon as I can, and I look forward to speaking with you again later. And so I say aloha, namaste, all my love, so much love.